Worried that other leaders in the world are going to start to doubt that America is back if some of these big things that you say on the world stage keep getting walked back.
What's getting walked back?
It made it sound like, just in the last couple days, it sounded like you told U.S. troops they were going to Ukraine. It sounded like you said it was possible the U.S. would use a chemical weapon, and it sounded like you were calling for regime change in Russia, and we know...
None of the three occurred.
None of the three occurred?
None of the three.
Mr. President?
You interpret the language that way. I was talking to the troops. We're talking about helping train the troops that are the Ukrainian troops that are in Poland. That's what the context. I sat there with those guys for a couple hours. That's what we talked about.
So when you said you're going to see when you're there, you were not intending to
I was referring to meeting with and talking with the Ukrainian troops that were in Poland.
And when you said a chemical weapon use by Russia would trigger a response in kind.
It will trigger a significant response.
What does that mean?
I'm not going to tell you. Why would I tell you? You got to be silly.
The world wants to know?
The world wants to know a lot of things. I'm not telling them what the response would be. Then Russia knows the response.
Developing through technology an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned.
This equation has four factors, a little bit of multiplication. So you've got a thing on the left, CO2, that you want to get to zero. And that's going to be based on the number of people, the services each person's using on average, the energy on average for each service, and the CO2 being put out per unit of energy. So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. That's back from high school algebra. But let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, health care, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
We recognize different ages for different purposes. We recognize 18 for the draft. We recognize 16 for driving in some states. We recognize 21 for drinking. So we recognize different ages for different purposes. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Could I have a second to engage that?
Certainly. I'll yield to the gentleman from Kentucky.
Would the chairman join me in co-sponsoring a bill to raise the draft age to 21?
No.
But the chairman feels that their brains aren't fully formed at 18, 19, and 20.
The research does indicate that in certain respects, but the Selective Service needs, I mean, if the country needs people, it needs people.
It needs people whose brains aren't fully formed?
In certain respects, yes.
Back to them, or do you want to stay with Donald Trump?
Fuck Joe Biden.
Refuse to go along with this, and I'm seeing through all of your lies, Barack Obama, you wicked, wicked devil!
Welcome back to another night of Shtick with Koolfrogg. It seems as though I do have a little bit of a full house here. We're going to have some fun tonight. How's it going, AmericaShirts? Well,
yellow.
Got the Outpost Nerd. What do you mean it's long?
What's up?
And of course, my favorite friend, Mike Hunt.
Oh, well,
I guess
I see how you
then, huh?
Right.
It's because I have a funnier name.
Well, you know,
I gotta say about your intro, Koolfrogg, I love it how Peter Goofy is just talking real slow to Biden, just so the old man can understand.
I normally don't play that one because that one's the longest one, and I clicked on it anyway, so I'm like, oh well, I gotta go with it. I can't go away from it. It would have been silly for me to do so. But so we got quite the night ahead of us. There's some interesting topics that we, see, what did I put at the top of the card? Does anybody look at the thumbnail? See how I line that up?
No, probably not.
I see how y'all are. Y'all just here just to let everybody know that you're here. Okay,
Just for the clout. Just for the clout.
Sure. So, first up,
Bunch of clout chasers.
oh, let's see here. That was a little weird. I don't know what the heck that was.
I don't know.
Oh, that was just AmericaShirts. The fluffiest shirts on the internet. So this guy here, he can go and do whatever he wants, and for whatever reason, like apparently because of who his wife is, he gets to get away with certain things. I think I went to the wrong article first, because this one seems like it should be like something to go after next.
I feel like he may have had the DUI just by being within the same, like, 5-mile radius as Nancy Pelosi.
I mean, he kisses the vodka bottle a lot.
Like, she just breathes on you, and oh my God, the booze smell.
Yes.
She's a natural alcohol vaporizer.
Yes.
So I don't know if this is
She's
actually
like,
legitimate
hey,
picture or
honey,
not.
how's it going? How's this work today? Just...
This woman is the devil incarnate, I swear to God.
Okay. My Twitter was acting up for a moment. So I had just snagged a picture.
God, the amount of Botox in that face is just staggering.
I know, right?
Let's see if I actually downloaded it. Of Mr. Pelosi. Apparently, he didn't look so healthy immediately after this accident.
Mm.
Somebody had put a picture out there. Did I actually download?
Wait, he killed his brother?
Yeah, exactly.
Classic.
Saying he killed his brother when they were younger. Apparently he was driving and he was drunk. So this is the mug shot. So I found it kind of interesting on what the mug shot really was. I'm like, oh, was he really actually injured that way? Is this something that somebody made up? What am I doing? Where's my... Got too many screens going on. This one. Here's his mugshot.
Oh.
Right.
Damn.
There's his mugshot. It looked like he got hit pretty hard in the accident.
His new name is going to be Eye Patch Pelosi.
Yes.
Okay.
Patch Pelosi sounds like a bad Pirates of the Caribbean ripoff.
So then that article that I had up, it says that at 16 years old, he was driving his brother 19 in a passenger seat when he lost control of a vehicle and flipped it on an embankment. So he killed his brother at an early age due to a drunk driving accident, and he got away with it. He was able to actually walk away living while his brother died, and he gets to,
Okay, that's not unusual for someone so young, to be honest. Sorry.
What in the world? He's like, I'm sick of listening to this. I'm gonna go listen to something else. Nerd. So anyway, with that note, that was a little strange. Let's bring this.
So this has been a lifelong thing for him. Just
it's
drunk
been a
driving,
lifelong thing.
killed some people.
It was still on topic. It was about Pelosi.
It has since been revealed that it's not Mr. Pelosi's first time being behind the wheel during an accident. At 16-year-old, he was driving, and his brother David, 19, was flipped the embankment. And this is, as the Daily Mail reports, the crash took place just before 3 a.m., February 22nd, 1957. On a little joyride before heading home, David John Pelosi, 19, was trapped under the light car driven by his brother when it flipped in the Skyline Highway a mile north of Crystal Springs. David warned young Paul, as the car neared a tight curve near the dam, "This is a bad stretch. Better slow down." How do they know this? This is all in the report. It's kind of strange that they know so much. It says Paul said he tried to slow down by shifting gear control. The car veered across the road, bounced back from a small embankment, climbed 20 feet up another, spun around, and somersaulted simultaneously and ended up upside down on the shoulder with both youths underneath. So he was even pinned himself, but he
Holy
just so happened to
shit!
survive
Can you
this
describe
accident.
that entire thing again? It sounded like this car did like a somersault and like flipped the. What the hell?
This is the car veered across the road, bounced back from the embankment, climbed up 20 feet, spun around, and somersaulted simultaneously from end upside down, simultaneously and ended up upside down on the shoulder. So I mean, there's an awful lot that actually occurred when this car actually goes up an embankment and ends up going head over, or heel over head, and tumbles down to the ground, ejecting both of them and pinning them. Couldn't imagine.
That takes a lot of talent to. I mean, that's not your everyday car wreck.
That had to be a high speed car wreck. There was no crossing. If the car somersaults, hell, to get that kind of effect in a movie, you need a fucking air tank and a fucking piston. Jesus.
Right.
It's like in the first in Casino Royale when they have James Bond tied up on the road and the Bond girl chained up in the road, and Bond is going down in his Aston Martin. He swerves to miss her, and he flips, and you see the air from the air tank where they launched it. It's this you can't even get. They are lying through their teeth. They are lying through their teeth with this shit.
So then it does continue. It says that he was charged with the misdemeanor manslaughter, which was later dropped. Who allowed that to actually drop away? Probably his parents, who were okay with allowing this to, not be something that would just sit on his record for his whole life. I'm sure they had the money to do so. That paragraph before it says they jacked up the car to relieve pressure on the youth. Apparently, they had already he had already died. Mr. Pelosi had issued 2 traffic citations, one for running a red light and another for veering over the center line. That's one thing that a lot of people don't understand is when you actually do something, like you get in an accident with a deer, and they figure out that you actually veered for the deer, they're going to tell you that you were wrong. You should have just kept on going straight. Don't veer, because then you cause other things to happen. I don't know why. It's weird. So then in the Saturday incident, he drove through a stop sign and hit and was hit by Jesus Lopez, who was driving north in Jeep.
Wow, that sentence just sort of failed.
Yeah, it was kind of a... Was that my fault?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
They
good.
definitely wrote "my" and left the word "a" out before Jeep.
Yeah. See, that's why. Okay, I failed it. I didn't actually read it before I read it, so I should have. So
This
Mr.
is
Pelosi
why
was
we have
arrested-
editors.
For the last time.
Mr. Pelosi was arrested at 10:22 on Saturday. 2 misdemeanor counts of driving under the influence and driving under blood alcohol content of 0.08, with bail being set at $5,000. He was released Sunday morning. Yeah, exactly, because you know damn well they had the money to actually do this. So they're like, oh, let's get it. We have to get this scrubbed from the record, and good thing the Daily Mail still has this particular report up, and this place, PM, actually picked it up. American News.
The post-millennial.
So then there was a couple other articles that we had for that particular Mr. Pelosi's ridiculousness, where he just he can get away with what he wants because of who he's married to. I would say most likely that has something to do with it. This lady right here, Nancy. Freaking Nancy. So it says, looks like more shoes are now dropping in the Paul Pelosi DUI arrest in Napa County, California. As we've already reported, Pelosi, 82, the husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, was arrested on Saturday night, shortly before midnight at 11:44 p.m. when he had an accident with another car. Fortunately, there is no injuries, but Pelosi was charged with 2 misdemeanors, driving under the influence and driving with a blood alcohol level above 0.08. Oh, go figure, he still likes to drink just as much as he did when he was a kid. For some reason.
It's still
Had to be
not
married
as
to
much
her.
as me.
Be married to
Because
her,
I
you-
drink much more than he can possibly drink.
You gotta be drunk to get it up with her around. Jesus.
Well, they both have to be pretty
Plus, I
drunk.
have to be drunk all the time.
She has to be drunk enough to make the lubrication work.
Just.
For some reason, it hasn't been fully explained yet. It took law enforcement officers more than 4 hours to book him after he was arrested. It wasn't booked until 4:13 a.m. What's up, Dwight Zombie? Let's get back to this. 4:13 a.m. Was he resisting a breathalyzer, causing a problem? Were they debating whether or not to charge him? It's not clear. And if he was still blowing more than a 0.08 after that time, that was what was it like at the time of the crash? He was released about 3 hours after he was booked on a $5,000 bail. How you doing, Dwight? But now there's more information on the accident. Pelosi was allegedly driving drunk when he piloted a 2021 Porsche through a stop sign while crossing State Route 29 and drove right into the path of an oncoming car driven by Jesus Lopez, 48, at about 10:26 p.m. So based on the report, Pelosi allegedly caused the crash. Notice he wasn't driving an electric vehicle, but a nice gas-guzzling new Porsche.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy!
What happened about 5 miles south of Pelosi's vineyard in St. Helena? This is just one of their many estates. Nancy Pelosi claimed she wasn't with her husband, but was in Rhode Island because she was going to be delivering a commencement address at Brown University. not positive this really has anything to do with his accident, but thank you for letting us know that she was going to be at Brown University. As Speaker of the House, was my honor to bring congratulations to the United States Congress to Brown University class of 2022, and with great humility and great pride, accepted honorary doctorate of law degree.
Oh my God.
That was really enjoyable for me.
It's like super necessary information for us to actually draw conclusions on why Pelosi decided to be able to get off with maybe less than maybe he paid the $5,000.
Just because he was out on bond does not mean the charges are going to be dropped.
Oh, come on!
I understand. I'm talking about at this point now. Getting out on bond does not mean the charges are going to be dropped.
Well, and the other thing you'd have to keep in mind, Outpost Nerd, is that this is California.
Yeah.
The law works differently in California and New York State than in most other places in the country. So, excuse me.
You know, I'm just saying, you know, being out on bond does not mean you're the charges are gonna be dropped. I'm guessing they will be dropped, but it's kind of. I'm guessing she's gonna call.
So just a little bit of insight for those who don't really know. So Paul Pelosi is an American businessman who owns and operates Financial Leasing Services, a San Francisco-based real estate and venture capital investment and consulting firm. He is the owner of the Sacramento Mountain Lions of the United Football League. He is also married to the U.S. House Speaker.
That's me. That's me.
He also does really great at stock trading.
I wonder why.
Well, I think I believe that I do a pretty good job with that myself. I think I listen to that done pretty well together. Yes.
Exactly. That's exactly. He actively practices doing insider trading. So then, under his career, I just looked at his Wikipedia.
That's my husband.
Under his career, it just says that he was earned a bachelor in science and foreign service from Georgetown, during which time he met Nancy. He was attending a Roman Catholic women's college, Trinity College in Washington, D.C.
Yes, he attended a women's college.
He attended a women's college, yeah. Mm-hmm. He earned an MBA at the Stern School of Business in New York University, and he's a chair of the Foreign Services Board of Georgetown since 2009. His personal fortune is about $114 million.
Yes. Sorry.
I said the same thing every time I hear his number.
I just got blocked by someone, and I'm happy about it.
Congratulations.
Previously invested in
No one cares
Invaders.
about Zaz. They care about my wealth. Yeah, everyone cares about money.
Just kidding. So, who
There's
blocked
no
you?
bad answer. There's no bad answer.
Was it somebody fun that we all know?
Shirts.
Who blocked you, nerd? Is it somebody fun that we all know?
ESPN commentator Sarah Spain. She was bitching about some Tampa Bay Raiders. Tampa Bay baseball players not wearing the rainbow patch, and I commented saying, "Why does that matter? What difference does wearing a patch and not wearing a patch makes?" This was after she called them bigots and racists for saying, that goes against our religion. We can't in good conscience wear these. And she got all pissy on ESPN.
What difference at this point does it make?
It's not hypocrisy,
God, look,
it's power.
It's the witch herself on the screen.
Exactly what it is, because ESPN fired another lady for sharing her political views a few years ago, and she's suing ESPN over it.
Did you see the Washington Post fired that journalist?
Yes. Oh my God, that's
which
hilarious. Lorenzo was her name.
We should finish up this topic and we can do that one next.
Whenever a person gets arrested, the police take a mugshot. These mugshots get entered into the public record.
Jeez,
We should have a right to see them. Unless, of course, you're married to Nancy Pelosi. And you get drunk, you blow a stop sign, and smash a brand new Porsche into another guy's car in the middle of the night. On the way back to your multi-million-dollar Napa vineyard. According to police, that's what Nancy's husband, Paul Pelosi, did over the weekend. What did you do? He crashed, failed the blood alcohol test, and was charged with drunken driving. But for some reason, we can't get our hands on his mugshot. Nobody in California will release it. Somebody's protecting Papa Pauly.
I showed you it.
Primetime has done everything by the book. We called the jail. They told us to call the sheriff, who told us to call the city council, and they gave us the runaround.
That's true.
So we filed an official records request in writing and got this response, quote, "The individual is not currently in custody in Napa County Jail. Therefore, the booking photos you have requested are exempt from disclosure. Because the records you seek are exempt from release, we have closed your request." We don't even really know what that means, but it sounds like screw you. You don't get mugshots of only people who are currently in jail.
Nope.
Plenty of people get booked in and out and have their mugshots released.
That's literally what
But Paul Pelosi is not like everyone else. So almost 96 hours after this crime took place, we have yet to see Pauly P's mugshot. So we commissioned a sketch artist to draw Pauly P's mugshot based on witness descriptions and publicly available information.
Oh, this ought to be good.
And here's what we came up with. We will show this picture until the real one is released. Primetime is not going to give up on this. In fact, we've got a whole team of lawyers working on it right now, and they're pretty expensive. While we're at it, we'd also like to see the body camera footage. Don't tell me those cops weren't wearing cameras. So we're filing a Freedom of Information request for that footage as well, because we have a right to know if Nancy Pelosi's husband said, "Don't you know who I am?"
Well,
and I want to
no
know
doubt
if he can
said
say his
that.
ABCs backwards during the field sobriety test. Hopefully Napa County will do the right thing.
My ABCs forward. It's just it's not hard to do because when you're drunk.
I will say Fox is a little better now that since they got rid of Chris Wallace, the guy who moderated one of the presidential debates, and basically it was him, Orange Man versus the Senile, and him and the Senile versus the Orange Man.
But I played that particular article from Fox for the simple fact that, I got it. Here you go. So, as fun as it is.
Pelosi.
What's that?
Eye patch Pelosi.
Right, eye patch Pelosi.
Pelosi, did you Amber Turd him? Is that it?
I don't know if this is true. If somebody edited to this, if it was just something.
There's lots of things that can happen when you're at a drunken party as a wine vineyard with a vodka. It's just,
bless you, shirts. I was hoping you'd pick up on that little cue.
Okay, so
it's just insane. Though. If it was one of us that this happened, we wouldn't get a bond.
As it should be.
A $5,000 bond.
Only such a peasantry.
So we're going to tangent before we go to the next subject that I had on the card, and we're going to go to what we were kind of had come up in conversation. This is stuff that Mike just threw at me.
People get to
shut up, Nancy.
Get
nasty, wretched bitch.
Better privileges. Yes. Better.
You can't hear me, can you, Nancy?
It's just better
Come on, Nancy.
It's
Put your dentures back in your mouth.
Better
Try again.
Clifford's scrub.
So, sorry, guys. So this is Washington Post reporter slams all white co-workers for defending paper.
Okay, sure.
7.
You have a habit of taking a joke and beating it like a dead horse.
You keep on using the dead horse as a joke, and it's not. Just stop it.
That's the saying. It's not meant to be a joke.
Washington Post reporter Felicia Sonmez on Thursday called out her colleagues over their defense of the paper of a continuation of a Twitter spat that began a week ago. Quote, the reporters that have synchronized tweets this week downplaying the Post workplace issues have few things in common with each other. They're all white. They're among the highest paid employees in the newsroom, make double or even triple what some other national desk reporters are making, practically journalists of color. They're among the stars who get away with murder on social media.
Okay, 2 things about this I want to know. 1, what are these people's experience? How much more experience do they have than you? 2, where was their education? Did they go to a better school than you? Okay, third one, actually, I'm going to add another one. How much better at their job than you? Skin color has nothing to do with work ethic. And I'm sick and tired of hearing that. We don't know if she's a troublemaker. We don't know if maybe she's a hard worker. Maybe she's actually telling the truth. Maybe she is being overlooked because of her color. We don't know. We're just hearing her say, "Oh, it's all these white men."
I mean, after her very public meltdown for the past week, I'm willing to believe that she just had a racism and then they fired her. If we were coming at this neutral, maybe. But yeah, clear troublemaker.
One of the greatest guys I've ever met. 6.5 feet tall, 300-pound lineman in our high school on our high school football team. Also played in the band. He run before halftime to go get his instrument and march with us during halftime. Went to university on a football scholarship. And I think he played for the NFL for a few years. Don't matter that he's black. He's still one of my best friends. Could pick me up and throw me clear 30 feet if he wanted to.
Well,
the biggest gentle giant. His skin color didn't matter.
And then we actually look at how big you actually are, and we actually say, "Oh,
anybody
could."
I'm not small, you jackass. He could pick you up and probably throw you. He's that big. Arms like 6 to 10 inches
I
around.
just fly.
He was a lineman, so you know he had to be pretty big. But his skin color didn't matter to us.
What's that have to do with this subject that you guys brought in here that I have no clue what I'm looking at?
This started over a reporter at the Washington Times retweeting a joke. All women are bi, you just have to figure out polar or sexual.
That joke has been around for decades.
That's disgusting, but funny as hell.
Shut up.
This lady decided that was very offensive and started blowing it up on Twitter, calling him all kinds of names.
Okay, so...
To which another colleague politely pointed out, hey, this is kind of an inappropriate way to behave in public. And then they proceeded to argue for a week.
You just have to figure out if it's polar or sexual. Fantastic to work with at the news outlet where retweets like this are allowed. Clout chasing.
This word police on Twitter is getting really old.
I mean, because she's clout chasing, exactly like her colleague said.
Great workplace.
Yeah,
it's
she's proven her colleagues
for them. The system is working for them. What about for everyone else?
Okay, I can give you a clear example of this not working for a white man. I used to watch The Flash, and I'm going to nerd.
The guy who got suspended for a month for retweeting a joke?
No. Just listen. This on The Flash, they had the character of the elongated man. He was a superhero with elastic powers. They built him up for 2 seasons. They built up the character for 2 seasons, and then while they're on hiatus, they all just boom out of the blue. The lead actress finds tweets of his from 15 years ago, or not 15 years ago, probably 7 or 8 years ago.
I love Vanity Fair. Vanity Fair is so fun.
Okay, I'm not talking.
Why not? You got to continue talking, man. You can't just stop you halfway through your thought.
But he was a white man. The actress is a black woman. She's still on it, plays one of the lead roles. She got him fired for tweets from 7, 8, maybe 10 years ago that he was made jokes. This is the Twitter police just trying to destroy people's lives all over again. She tried to be the Twitter police, but it backfired on her. It is utterly ridiculous. People want to take words from people so long ago and destroy their lives over it. This just kind of stuff gets under my skin.
So, this other article that was thrown at me says clusterfuck inside the Washington Post social media meltdown. It says on Tuesday afternoon, Washington Post reporter Josh Dawsey tweeted that he was proud to work at the paper in place filled with many terrific people who are smart and collegial. 4 minutes later, reporter Rosalind Halderman, too, tweeted that she was proud to work at the Post, which is always striving to be better than it was yesterday. 6 minutes later, another reporter, Amy, tweeted she was proud to work at the paper, followed by another top journalist at the publication, such as Matt Visor, Carol whatever, and Dan whatever. I really don't care what their names are. To me, it doesn't make sense. The public outpouring of posts, which untold political reporters are urging one another to take part in, followed
Is his
executive
name
editor
Dan Balls?
Sally. Yeah, Dan Balls.
Excellent.
Followed executive editor Sally Busby's memo reiterating workplace policies and promoting collegially whatever. I cannot say that word. It doesn't matter how many times I try to say it. I just can't do it. Among staff, the memo dropped following a few days at the Post that have been, as one reporter described it, a clusterfuck. Do I have to read this whole thing? There's so much more to go on tonight.
No, it's a lot of the same information.
Holy shit, that's an article.
Yeah, even the other media companies are laughing at the Washington Post have a public meltdown on Twitter.
These articles will be dropped down in the description as well, because we did actually cover them. Anybody interested in reading all of this, it will be available for you. I'll do my best to be sure that's in there. All right. Well, Grimsbar, what's up, buddy?
Grimmy, what's up?
Let's see here. Putin. Where's the Putin article? Did you give one to me? AmericaShirts?
I think we lost him.
Where's AmericaShirts? Are you kidding me? Oh my lord. AmericaShirts, where the fuck are you? You gotta be kidding me right now.
How bad do you have to be for the other media companies to laugh at you?
Maybe you kind of boomer some couple things, like I'm doing right now. Just to...
No, I'm talking about that crazy woman.
Where in the world?
I mean, I just appreciate that their own promotion of this insanity has finally come home.
Oh, yeah.
And somehow Taylor Lorenz still has a job.
Okay, so...
I want her to show up at my door.
I guess what
I just don't understand how she keeps her job after that whole, I just made up a whole bunch of things about YouTubers.
You know what? The courts really need to do something about this, about doxing and swatting and all these new tech crimes that are coming out. It is just, our court systems are what they say 10, 15 years behind the times. And it's getting so,
okay,
it's
boys,
getting ridiculous.
Watch your eyes. Don't go blind. Don't stare it right in the eyes.
Oh, God. Oh, God. It's the Ark of the Covenant, just your face is melting.
Our favorite off-Broadway star.
I was going to say that.
I mean, she's just so ugly. She's like, blowjobs only. Oh. It says the department...
With those teeth, you don't want a blowjob from her.
Well, I mean...
Yeah, she'd probably bite it off.
Depends on who you are.
That she's like Harris. The back shots are how she got where she needed to be.
It's like the comment on Div Inity's video news video was just so insane. I was just like,
looks like she hit 1,000.
Oh, that's good. I asked, get off your knees, wipe your face off, open your eyes, and see how much things are worse, sweetie. It's just the blindness that these people have, the tunnel vision they have. It's just, I don't know how they do it.
If I put her face on the screen long enough, will you shut up?
No.
Because they're better than you. That's how.
It doesn't make you want to do it. Just makes you want to punch her, doesn't it?
God, that's a huge ass forehead too.
She looks kind of like Brett Cooper in this photo, but with more of a man chin.
I'm just lost in that forehead. Huge, Jesus.
All right. So with this lady with this forehead, she doesn't even work for it anymore. I don't get why she stole the picture of it. I just don't get it. Maybe it draws attention. The forehead draws the attention.
Mm.
The Department of Homeland Security worked with Twitter on its ill-fated disinformation governance board, according to the whistleblower's documents, which showed the agency arranged a meeting with Twitter executives and blocked news stories about Hunter's laptop. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Department officials set up on April 28th meeting to ask Twitter to become involved in the disinformation project. According to DHS itinerary, the meeting is planned with Yoel Rolf, behind the controversial decision to block the Post stories, or the New York Post story about Biden's laptop from being shared on the platform in October 2020. The whistleblower documents. Now, if you click on this thing and you actually go and look at these documents that are in there, there's quite a bit of information.
Mm-hmm.
like 5 pages of stuff of these documents ranging from Koof to other crap that is just full of shit. And it was like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like trying to find some decent paragraphs to read off in here. And I read the whole thing and I'm like, I got to read the whole thing again because I just didn't understand what was in there. And I'm like, it's just a bunch of word salad that they like to throw at you. And calling things miss, dis, and mal, different types of information, is threats to the homeland. And it's like, well, excuse me? You can't sit there and do that. That's not... It's very, very disgusting and repulsive, to say the least.
I can't help but get Nazi Germany vibes hearing this kind of shit.
I mean, it's full on, like, you know, not 39 maybe, but like 33.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's just... It shivers a shiver down my spine, to be honest.
So anyway,
well, especially seeing things like Canada or who we're supporting in Ukraine or any of these many other things happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a messed up time. That's for sure. Okay.
So the documents, what, you're going to leave me right in the middle of the article?
No. I think I meant we're talking. Sorry.
Okay. So the whistleblowers documents released by Republican senators on Wednesday show Homeland Security's plans for disinformation board were more extensive than previously acknowledged. The department publicly announced the board on April 27th, but did not disclose plans to work with social media companies. Homeland Security Chief Alejandro Mayorkas said the board would function as a working group to track disinformation regarding human smuggling operations and the Russian invasion of Ukraine. He insisted the board would have no operational authority or capability. Through the itinerary for the Twitter meeting shows DHS saw it as an opportunity to discuss operationalizing public-private partnerships between DHS and Twitter. So
that's not scary. What do you mean?
This is exactly what Ted Cruz and a lot of them have been warning about for years now. Twitter working in tandem with the government to silence people. This means they should go tomorrow and vote to rescind their Section 230 protection. If Twitter goes from being a public company to an arm of the government like they wanted, that means that they would have to abide by the Second Amendment. That means that means that Trump could come back. That means anyone can say anything on Twitter.
I mean, just that line alone was more extensive than previously acknowledged. I mean, we all know that we've all been watched and they're paying attention.
I mean, has anyone just not been on social media for the past 5 years? Like, do we really have to explain that part?
No, right, exactly. I mean, most of us that have been around for the last even 2 years understand what is exactly going on. It's like, yeah, they've been paying attention for a long time. People that aren't paying attention if they assume that they're not.
I mean, there's a reason hackers used to add the word echelon to the end of their emails.
Right. So the board came under intense scrutiny not only for its Orwellian-sounding name, but also the past Jankowicz, the board's executive director. I thought she lost that position. Jankowicz pushed the unfounded claim that Biden's laptop emails were hacked as part of the Russian disinformation campaign. She also called on social media platforms law enforcement officials and lawmakers to crack down on the content she deemed awful but lawful.
What's that really terrible professor from Harry Potter? The one
Umbridge?
in the pink? Yeah.
Yeah, Umbridge. Yeah.
She's like the real life one of those.
Yeah, the government agent.
I don't know what that is, but it's awesome.
She she worked for the government, became the teacher, and when Harry was saying that Voldemort was back, when the government wanted to keep it quiet.
How long ago has he been in here?
And for punishment, she'd make the students write "I will not tell lies" with a special quill that basically sliced it into your hand as you wrote it. So like
we're being stream sniped. We're being stream sniped right now by the expert.
Oh snap!
Yeah. Oh snap!
It's Dirty Diva in the chat.
Dirty Diva. Oh my lord! What kind of conversations have you been having?
Yeah, I listened to the expert earlier. She was getting a little saucy tonight.
So then, while they're stream sniping, we might as well keep on going. So this is, quote, DHS should not in any way seek to enlist
So wait,
the private
if I say
sector.
the wrong thing, I can get 2 streams shut down at once?
Yes, you could. If you actually think about it real quick, you say the right thing.
And they say you can't get 2 birds with 1 stone.
He just stopped. DHS should not in any way seek to enlist the private sector to curb or silence opposing viewpoints, says Mayorkas. Grassley and Hawley suggested in other letters to Mayorkas that Jankowicz was selected to lead the disinformation board because she had worked with Twitter's Roth. The DHS itinerary for the April 28th meeting notes that Jankowicz and Roth knew each other. Oh, really? You don't say. They just knew each other just a little bit? How much did they know each other? Did he know the back of her throat?
Now, Washington and just the bureaucracy of America is just so incestuous. It's not even funny. It is absolutely crazy.
I mean, that's one of the big problems. There's like this permanent ruling class that's just doing a shitty job.
And that's not what the founding fathers wanted. They had all had day jobs. They would do their job in government for a while and go back to their farms. They did not want it to be this way. And sadly, I would say maybe around the turn of the century or around World War I, people started seeing how lucrative government could be. And ever since, we've been in pretty much perpetual war for almost 100 years. And you have these, like going back to Pelosi, you have these skeletons that stay for 60, 70 years in Washington. And then you have their husbands or wives, family members working in these industries that they directly make policy for, that they know beforehand how things are going to impact these industries. So, and look at Pelosi's husband. How much has he made investing in the right pharmaceuticals when his wife was making laws impacting that industry?
Related to Joe Biden?
Huh?
That was a massive stutter. I asked you, are you related to Joe Biden?
I stutter, shut up. But I made my point.
You did.
It's just...
in 3 different ways.
You see it too.
Perfect.
In small towns. My town, we've had one family be mayor for at least 40 years. And we can't get them out.
I remember there being a mayor in my hometown, actually, of being mayor for like 10, 15 years, and he ran a couple businesses in town. And it was just amazing how much stuff the guy actually did, and you're like, that's how he became mayor. It's because he knew so many goddamn people.
Yeah.
Now you look at it and it's a bunch of freaking assholes. You're just like,
you got to be aware of what's happening in small town government just as much as you need to be aware of what's going on in Washington.
You always know all of who your mayor is, who your whatever. I'm not going to list them all. I can't. My brain's not functioning properly for that.
Hell, I went to church with one of our county commissioners. I called his butt out a couple of times between services. I looked at him one time and said, "What are you doing throwing this guy out?" His excuse, "Oh, he's always a troublemaker." I'm like, okay, whatever.
What's up, Sully?
Yeah, government's a little messed up.
Hi, Sully.
Oh, what happened to AmericaShirts, damn it? Roth, who recently unveiled Twitter's crisis management policy, came under fire for blocking access to the posts. Stories about Hunter Biden's laptop. Roth said that he made the decision after American intelligence officials told him in meetings before the 2020 election that foreign actors might release materials hacked by Hunter Biden. To date, there is no evidence that Biden's emails were hacked or that his laptop was mishandled. A computer shop owner said Biden dropped off the laptop for repairs in April of 2019, but never came back to retrieve it. Federal prosecutors are investigating Biden's business dealings, many of which were discussed on the laptop. Yes.
I bet the big guy was pissed when he found out that laptop was missing.
Like, he even knows what a laptop is.
Well, when you can't remember who you're running for
You
president
know what he
against,
thinks a laptop is.
He literally thought during
the
press conference that he thought he was racing against the president from 16 years ago. He thought he was running against Bush.
But they're just gonna. We know that they're all working together. The point of the article or whatever is them soliciting Twitter, and we know that they've been using Twitter and been following everybody that has a Twitter account.
Mm-hmm. I would not be surprised if
they know who's all out there. They've even just recently had a couple things about Twitter, whatever where they say. Like there's certain percentage of certain followers are bots or whatever.
Well, that's one thing that is keeping Elon from buying Twitter. He wants to know how many are bots, because he believes that the number of bots is could be inflating the price of the company. They say they have 2 billion users. Where what if 50 million of them are bots? That's what he's trying to figure out. That's why he hasn't been able to buy it yet, because he's fighting with them, and they don't want to share those numbers.
I think they just agreed to this week.
See, I heard differently. But maybe, hopefully, it changes soon.
Well, because the other choices have a big fight about who's backing out the deal in court over $1 billion.
They are looking for any way they can to get out of this deal.
AmericaShirts needs to show up because the hell. He had some information that he was supposed to share with this next part that he had. He was talking about it earlier. So it says that these feds are looking to buy 500,000 doses to try fighting this new, not so new, whatever thing called monkeypox.
Monkeypox has been around for decades.
Right, it's been around for a while. Basically, what it comes down to is they're using this particular smallpox vaccine that's about 85% effective when it comes to actually using it for monkeypox. And for whatever reason, the federal government is decided they need to buy these 500,000 doses. I don't understand why they feel the need to actually buy so many. If they think that the next outbreak is going to be that massive, or they need to have that, because it was a pretty penny that it's going to cost them to do so. I believe it actually showed an amount. If it didn't, yeah. So here, there are 45 monkeypox cases have been identified across 15 states in the U.S. Hurry up, buy 500,000 doses, because we feel there's an outbreak about to come. This particular company is Bavarian Nordic that they're purchasing these doses from. Now, I had found an article on it. Bavarian Nordic. AmericaShirts had also found something else that I found very interesting. He was going to actually repeat it. I don't remember where. Did he actually get it from the? Maybe he found it from the Wikipedia. I think that's what he did. I'm going to go through and quick pull up that as well so that we can actually have a full thought maybe. You guys doing okay?
Yeah, I'm just listening.
I just know nothing about this topic, so.
Okay.
I know where monkeypox supposedly came from, but that kind of talk might get you banned.
Yeah, so in response to the threat of the spread of monkeypox, the United States has provided doses of this particular vaccine, this Genos, and it's some at-risk adults. So it's not that they're just going and they're giving it to people. They're giving it to people that are putting themselves at harm to try taking care of somebody that could potentially already have it. It's the way it sounded to me. So this is the U.S. has a stockpile of more than 1,000 doses of this particular Genos. The 2-dose vaccine is produced in Denmark's Bavarian Nordic, which revealed last week that it had secured a contract to supply the shot to an unnamed country in Europe. While just one confirmed case of the monkeypox was uncovered in the U.S., according to the World Health Organization, 131 cases have turned up outside of Africa, where the virus is most commonplace. Most of the cases have emerged in Europe and primarily in the UK, Spain, and Portugal. This vaccine has been used. Here it is. It's showing 85% effective against the monkeypox. The U.S. has a stockpile of more than 100 million doses of another smallpox vaccine. But the older shot, which was originally produced by Sanofi and now by Emergent Biosolutions, carries a higher risk of side effects. Oh, allegedly. We are hoping to maximize vaccination distribution to those that we know would benefit from it. Those are people who've had contact with known monkeypox patients, healthcare workers, very close personal contacts, and those in particular who might be at risk for severe disease. they're only giving it to particular people, these healthcare workers that are dealing with patients of that already have said disease, and then personal contacts with those people. So it's not that they're giving it to everybody. They're only going to give it to people that aren't already infected with it. So it really sounds like they're just trying to be preventative of everybody else. But doing 500,000, are they really expecting 250,000 people to actually come down with this? Because you got to figure how many doctors and your mom, your dad, whoever's taking care of you, who's ever going to be around, if somebody does decide to be around, because they're like, oh, how'd you get that?
I just assume it's a scam.
Just to scare everybody?
I mean, just to make money.
Yeah, I think so too, to be honest. What I really want to say could get you in trouble, so.
Well,
why don't you tell us all about how it spread Outpost? You can do it. Believe in yourself.
Stop it. We're only an hour in. Give us a little time.
What about 15 minutes? I got to jump off. But yeah,
that's right. We're just getting interesting here. So,
yeah, I know.
You want to do it. Do it.
Okay, here we go. This is going to be the fun one. This is the one that everybody's going to be like, what in the world is that? Justin Bieber says he has a facial paralysis due to Ramsay-Hunt syndrome.
God. He has fallen way downhill from when he was that little kid on YouTube.
Now, and again, AmericaShirts, where are you? If you don't remember, from a few months or a few weeks back, maybe a month and a half, or what do we? I think we figured about 6 weeks ago, we had brought up his wife. His wife actually came down with Haley, came down with this mini stroke. And we covered that back then. And now we're like, oh, look, and now look at Justin's got this thing that's giving him facial paralysis.
Justin here. Hey everyone. Justin here.
Sorry.
I wanted to update you guys on what's been going on. Obviously, as you can probably see from my face, I have this syndrome called Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, and it is from this virus that attacks the nerve in my ear and my facial nerves, and has caused my face to have paralysis. As you can see, this eye is not blinking. I can't smile on this side of my face. This nostril will not move. So there's full paralysis in this side of my face. So for those who are frustrated by my cancellations of the next shows,
okay, hold up.
I'm just physically, obviously, not capable of doing them. This is pretty serious, as you can see. I wish this wasn't the case, but obviously my body's telling me I gotta slow down, and I hope you guys understand, and I'll be using this time to just rest and relax and get back to 100% so that I can do what I was born to do. But in the meantime, this ain't it. I gotta go get my rest on, get my face back to where it's supposed to be. I love you guys. Thanks for being patient with me. And I'm gonna get better. And virus that attacks the nerve in my ear.
A virus that attacks the nerve in his ear. So.
Well, that sucks.
Right? So if you actually go and you actually look at the signs and symptoms, it says the symptoms of Ramsay-Hunt syndrome vary from case to case. Affected individuals usually experience paralysis and the facial nerve and a rash affecting the ear. These two symptoms do not always occur simultaneously. In most cases, only one side of the face is affected. Facial muscles affected by nerve palsy may be weak or feel stiff and may result in the inability of affected individuals to smile, wrinkle the forehead, or close their eye in the affected side. Most cases of Ramsay-Hunt syndrome have a reddish, painful blistering or rash that affects the outer portion of the ear and often the external ear canal. Additional symptoms affecting the ear include ringing in the ear pain, and in some cases, ear pain may be intense. Causes. Ramsay-Hunt syndrome is caused by the Varicella-Zoster virus, which is the same virus that causes chickenpox and shingles. The virus can remain dormant for decades in a person who has had chickenpox as a child. Reactivation of the Varicella-Zoster virus results in shingles and in some cases develops into Ramsay-Hunt syndrome. The reason why the virus reactivates and affects the facial nerve in Ramsay-Hunt syndrome is unknown. So, what he's really got going on is the reactivation of whatever.
It's you're on,
from him having chickenpox as a kid.
There you go. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah, it was either this or probably shingles. It sucks.
AmericaShirts.
Oh, look.
Yes, we're to this young man that has this rash that is caused from the vaccines or from the, I shouldn't
virus.
say that. I'm not a doctor. From the virus that was for chickenpox.
There's no vaccine for chickenpox.
No.
Yeah, but
it said that you should actually.
But there is for all the rest of the pox, interestingly enough, right?
Right, but you should actually have.
Anyway,
had chickenpox as a young child.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Best.
I remember vividly having chickenpox, and since my mom worked in the schools, my dad sitting on the couch.
If you don't get it as a kid, it gets really bad as an adult. So like, I remember as a kid or whatever, hearing somebody had chickenpox, and anybody that didn't already have it, they're like, okay, go over to their house, go hang out with them for a little bit.
Yeah, that's I was going to
you'd
say that.
pass it on purpose so that you'd get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some weirdness.
It's just,
and now everybody's scared to actually go outside and they're all isolating themselves. Imagine.
Well, even before that, you'd get the cops called on you.
Series of things of chickenpox is going to be because kids are getting older and they haven't had been around anybody to actually get it.
I don't think
Could be
my
very
niece has
interesting.
had chickenpox yet.
That's what I'm saying.
She's 8 years old.
Could. We'll find out in about 18 years how interesting that really is. That's my guess. They're still going over there?
They will be going for probably about 2 or 3 more hours.
We went over and we closed them down last week. We joined this show after we were done.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it sucks. It's just nothing he can probably do right now except for let the virus run its course and then probably get some physical therapy.
What do you mean it sucks? It's beautiful. Oh my god. Like, all we need is for it to infect the other ear, and then his entire face won't be able to move, and then I won't be able to hear his fucking singing ever again.
Yeah,
I have dealt with this freak my entire damn life with his stupid shit all over the goddamn radio. I've had enough of him filling the airwaves with toxic shit songs. Like, I'm done with it.
You know what I'm going to do here? Actually, what we should do? AmericaShirts, you get to like the next 10, 15 minutes or whatever, because of the simple fact that we've actually done the Homeland Security thing. We've done the Monkeypox thing. And we've just finishing the Justin Bieber thing. So I think you should have some time to actually rant about each one of those issues. 5 minutes apiece should be about right. Give or take.
Well, he can do that. I gotta head out. I will talk to you guys later.
Nerd, have a good one.
Y'all too.
Okay, now we can talk about him and his shortness. Oh. AmericaShirts, are you with us?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I think I'm also going to head out. I'm pretty tired, so just sitting here. Have a good one, guys.
All right. You have a good night.
Later.
Later.
Just getting into the good stuff. Because after this article, like I said, I'd give you a few minutes to actually rant if you wanted. You didn't say anything.
You already went over. Did you go over the Alliance for Biosecurity and Bavarian Dick, like specifically? Or did you just kind of go over the...
We just kind of went over it a little bit, and we kind of, hit at some of the specific points. The only thing we really had left was if we wanted to go over congressional maps, and that sounded like that was the one that Mike was most interested in. That's why I'm like, oh, okay. So,
but wait! I want to see this video again. Right here. It just like just
this particular video.
Yes, just fills my heart with joy. It's like it gives me like this weird energy of like
Hey everyone,
there's some kind of justice in the world.
Justin here. I wanted to update you guys on what's been going on. Obviously, as you can probably see from my face, I have this syndrome called Ramsay Hunt syndrome, and it is from this
Isn't it beautiful? Look.
virus that
the one part of his
attacks
mouth
the nerve
doesn't
in my
move.
ear,
Just need the other
my
one.
facial nerves,
And then no
has
more
caused
shit
my
shots.
face to have paralysis. As you can see, this eye is not blinking. I can't smile on this side of my face. This nostril will not move. So there's full paralysis in this side of my face. So for those who are frustrated by my cancellations of the next shows, I'm just physically, obviously not capable of doing them. This is pretty serious, as you can see. I wish this wasn't the case, but
The rest of the
obviously my
world
body's
does.
telling
You
me I
are
gotta slow
doing the
down.
world a favor.
And
Even if you get better, you should
hope you
still
guys
stay away
understand.
from your shows.
And
Yeah, but now we get
I'll be using this
to-
time to just rest and relax and
Because he's gonna rest
get
and
back to
relax.
100% so
Eventually
that I
he's gonna
can
get bored and he's gonna start
do what
writing stupid songs
I was born to do. But in the meantime,
that he's gonna want to sing once he gets
this
to
ain't
the
it.
point where he can actually
I gotta-
do it again.
I gotta go get my
And they're gonna be horrible songs.
my rest on so that I can get my face
Just
back
like
to
all the other songs he's ever
where it's
produced.
supposed to be. I love you guys. Thanks for being patient with me.
He's gonna go work
And
with other people
I'm gonna
create
get better.
their shit.
And I'm doing all
Help
these
them
facial
create
exercises to
his shit.
get my
Something.
face back to normal.
Get my face back to normal.
I like it that way better, though, Justin. I'm just saying. I would
So-
become a fan of yours if you would just keep that side of your
Who's
mouth
with
and
us?
the other one
Who's
closed.
watching? Dwight, you with us? Jimmy, you with us? Who's with us? Grimsbar?
I don't think anybody is right now.
Wolstrom? How's it going, man? We're asking for you on FNL. Well, so here's the thing. The only
Jimmy
thing that we
was
really had left was the 40 potential counties that would, or districts that would, potentially make their way to a particular party on the map. We can actually do that some other time. It's a 270towin.com. It's very interesting, interactive. Just updated today with the most recent lines and predictions on where things would be, and getting to that 270 for the supermajority of the House might be a little far off, but picking up another 40 seats, putting them at like 253-ish, is something that is potentially in the future of potential of something happening, which could be very fun and very interesting when it comes down to what happens at the end of the year for this election. I don't know if you want to bring up the map. If you don't want to bring up the map, it's up to you. How do you feel?
Oh, I'm fine. Whatever you want.
Do you want to go join them instead?
Join them?
Apparently, they're calling for us.
No, he said Jimmy. He said we're asking for Jimmy. We're asking for you on FNL. Because Jimmy was in here saying hello.
Jimmy was in here. We're asking for you over there. Yeah. Come install my one viewer. Just kidding.
I don't think he's over there either.
Dwight, you still with me? That's usually who the one Twitch viewer is most recently. If it's somebody else, that's fine. You can hit me up and say it's not him. Because this could be fun if you want to actually go through this map. Do you want to go through the map, or do you want to go?
Well, sure.
Should we
We'll
rock,
do
should we
whatever.
rock
yeah.
paper, scissors it? You want to go through the map? All right, let's do it. So, this map. This is fun. This is. I thought Mike was going to stick around for. This is what I think he was most interested in. So, 270towin.com. Let me see if I can't make this a little bigger. I keep easier to see, maybe. It's kind of their issue. It's off center. The hell, man. How stupid is their website? Okay. We want the whole thing.
That's close enough.
Alright, so you can see here, currently this is where supposedly everything is sitting. This is a full interactive map. So you can click on each one of these districts and you can see who's actually the current House member in that. You know, so like you can get in here, Dean Phillips, Ilhan Omar. But look here. For whatever reason, this is the the district that I had lived in most recently in Minnesota, and it's actually put it as a toss-up. That's never been the case for that area ever, to actually be a toss-up. That was always a big blue chunk. And then there was this was changed. This open seat down here, that was changed. And you can see it's now projecting it as being a red. This county that was down in here, that was the county of Winona, was super blue. They're going to be awful angry when they find out that the rest of this is all going to take over whatever they think is going to be there. But I'm projecting that that's actually going to go away. Look at all this openness, red, and it's just all this really super populated, dense cities that are all sitting at this deep, dark blue.
Yep. That's how it works.
Look like they've changed some of what was there, because if you look at the old maps compared to the new maps, it's amazing what they actually look like. I still have that website that we were going through the other night that actually was going through what the congressional maps would look like, and it was giving us a close-up for each state. There's an awful lot. Let's see. There's another particular page. It's this one. So it was the forecast, and it was showing which ones were actually open. And there's an awful lot of open seats right now that they're projecting to be one way or the other. And they're putting them in categories. How do you feel about all this? Is this something that's way over our heads? Like, we should have had Mike with us yet?
I mean, no. I mean, I don't know if I believe all of this myself.
Other projection.
What's this website? 2070 to win.
270towin.com. That's 270 TOWIN.
I mean, does it go on the website and tell you where they get their statistics from?
Where it gets their statistics from? I have no clue. So that when you get down in here, you actually start looking at this, and you're like, Ann Kirkpatrick from Arizona, who's dark blue, it says incumbent not running for re-election, and it's showing a consensus map of projecting this light pink. So like they're like, no, it's not hers anymore. These open seats. Incumbent, look at dark blue again. And then they're splitting it into two reds. It's like, well, wait a minute here. What was this? Is consensus on the map. So they're like this gerrymandering, as they like to call it, that happens from either side. where they move these lines around is really something interesting. I haven't been paying attention to my chat. That's why nobody's sticking around. They're like, oh, they're not paying attention to us tonight. You had too many screens up. But retiring to run as governor, there was a couple of them.
So if you scroll back up a little bit to the map, and I think most people know this, but just for everyone's understanding, everything that is in solid red has already been accounted for, I believe is what they're saying on this. So that they've already had elections, and they went Republican.
This is their map color palette, and they're saying that the dark ones are safe. Anything that's solid dark is safe. It's not not changing. That's where it is. Because there's a lot of places that have already done some of their voting.
So the pink shades and the blue and the light bluer shades are the ones that would be in question still. And of course, the really, toss-up is the gray.
Right, that toss-up, that gray, those ones, when you actually look at them, you can and you can scroll over them and you can be like, oh, let's see that one's open. And, you try looking around through all this, and you're like, which? There's amazing amount. I think we can zoom this in and slide this over. Come on, let me slide it over. Okay, there it is. So let's zoom in further if we can here. Can we? Come on. Okay, there we go. We can get in even further. I'm only going here because there's several different ones that are. There's a couple open slots in New York. Both of these guys are running for governor. So these open slots, they have to actually select somebody yet from each party to run for these midterms. Now, supposedly, you'd almost think that most of them would be already known on who would be running against them. So like this one up here, it's just not running for a re-election. So again, they're going to need two people, one from each party or whatever, to actually run that to see what actually happens with those. These are all toss-ups. You can see the color code on there, that darker of the light pink, it says that those are likely to happen. And then the light of is just that it's leaning that way, which could totally, go totally the other way, depending on which county or district you're in. You can see how small these ones are. I believe it's positioned out for what, every 100,000 people gets a representative. We figured that one out, right?
It's ridiculous how they do all of these districts.
Right? And we can click on them and we can change the colors and we can say, well, what happens if that actually happens? And you can see the number change. Depending on where you put it. So then I was watching something earlier that had said, I couldn't find an article. It was just somebody's opinion. And I said, oh, that's very interesting. And their opinion, it said something about the potential for 40 different areas, different swing areas that would most likely go to turn red. like these ones. This dark blue one. This is not running for re-election. Dude that's not running for re-election may be in trouble in that area because of the way they redistricted some of these areas. So, what was...
Oh, Jimmy YouTube says, here in spirit.
What's
well,
up, Jimmy?
thank you.
Good to see you again. So then...
Was at party. Ooh. Party.
That's where the
Wasn't
spirit
Jimmy at a
comes
party
into
like
play.
several days ago with like a kebabs and crap? Like, you know, I mean, what the hell is
Seems to
this?
be
Like
one
every
of those
night
that
you have a party
likes
there,
to
Jimmy?
Party.
How come I never get invited?
Yeah, right. So I never
got sent a kebab in the mail. I mean, you know.
Oh, I'll take a brat. Yum. If you don't know what a brat is, that's too bad.
I used to say when I was younger, I didn't know how to pronounce it. I was like, it's a brat. People were like, no, it's not a brat. It's a brat. I'm like, it says brat.
So now I have to take a package out of the freezer and cook them up tomorrow. Well, that means I have to go to the store and get some charcoal or something.
Oh, would you look at the Indiana 6th District, Greg Pence. You know who was the governor of Indiana there for a little bit was Mike Pence. And look, he kind of looks like him. I wonder if they're related. You know.
Maybe. But yeah, you can really go through here and you can
That's
actually,
sarcasm.
it actually tells you not running for re-elections. There's several.
Of course he is.
Several of these lifelong Democrat Party individuals that are no longer running for these seats. This isn't just in the House either. There's several in the Senate that seem to be retiring this coming year.
Oh, I'm wrong,
Everybody
because
should
as you see
really
there,
choose-
there's Madison Cawthorn. He lost his election, but they still have him listed as serving right now, presently. So, like, how do we read this map again? I don't know. Confused myself.
Are you feeling okay? Why are you whispering at me?
Who? What? Oh. My mic film. I was saying that if you look at Madison Cawthorn's seat, it's already he already lost his. He lost the Republican nomination, but yet he's still listed there. So, but it says 21, so that means that's still the year that he's serving, and by the end of this year, he won't. So I'm not exactly sure how to read this map.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought, and I wish I knew a little bit more about it. You know, because like I said, I can go and I can change them.
You know, I think it's like, is it presently this way? Are these people who won their elections? Or
Apparently, this is the most. See, if I hit this reset button, this is the most recent of everything that's going on right now. So, you know, there's a lot that's still open. Like I said, there's open seats. There's two of them in New York. They're just wide open. These are toss-up. Look at how big that toss-up is there. If we actually had the ability to actually go and look at every single race as they're happening right now, and who versus who, we would kind of understand that some of these guys are done. Like this guy, Ron Kind. Look at it. He was blue. He had been blue for the longest time. He's not running for re-election. And look at, they have a prediction on. They have it as a light pink. That it actually leans more to to the red as opposed to leading to the blue. So there should be quite a few changes that may occur. That there's going to be an awful lot of people being like, "Whoa, what just happened here?" Or not. We really don't know. Look at it. Look at all these open seats. There's so many open seats right now.
Gotta get going in your primaries, ladies and gentle tots.
Start paying attention to your stuff and what's going on, where you are, which district you're in, and.
Oh wait, see at the top there, interactive map. They go to current house. So that's
This is the old districts of what's been there from before these lines were redrawn, and you can kind of see where, when you look at some of them, you look at the line, like I told you, look at that. It was dark blue. That's where I was originally from. You can see how they redrew that district.
And look at New Mexico too, by the way. If you flip back over to the other one, it's like all curvy and wurvy now.
When you look at it, yes, and you're like, oh, look at the redistricting actually did to it. It totally changed the complexion of how things are and where people moved. Because, people move. There was a big, huge drove of people that moved from these larger, bigger cities, from like the Minneapolis, St. Paul areas, from the Chicago areas. And they all moved out into these areas that were already pretty fairly dark red. They're going to be amazed how many areas and pockets are going to be consumed with this redness. Somebody said 40 seats. 40 seats could potentially switch or move to. If you get 40 seats, if you get to pick a speaker, who do you think they'll choose? It doesn't have to be a person of politics. It doesn't have to be somebody that's actually sitting in the House. It doesn't have to be any of that. If you look at who the Speaker of the House can actually be, it can be anybody that is selected by that said committee, which is the majority.
I'm thinking to myself, who would be the most likely candidate, though? I know people talk about Trump. Like, who would be the most likely candidate outside of McCarthy, Kevin McCarthy, that would win Speaker of the House if the Republicans take the House? I'm thinking either Jim Jordan, or if we get a bunch of based people, maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene, if we get a bunch of based people. If we get a bunch of like really awesome populist people. Some lovely populist conservative Republicans could possibly see a Speaker MTG, which would be awesome.
Eighth term. Jim Jordan's been going since 2007.
Wow, I didn't know he was there that long.
But it is something that you should always pay attention to, and you know that you can. I can see it. I can see the new districts that have occurred. Let's go back in there. Let's look at that again. Pick another state. Look at just any of them. Look at California. Look at those districts, and look what they changed it to. Like super dark blue all the way along the whole side, and deep dark red all the way through the middle. And they're like, oh, let's make it a competition. Which state do you like the best? AmericaShirts?
I don't know.
What do you think is going to happen with some of these? Do you think some of these deep dark ones are going to switch to some reds?
Oh no, the deep dark ones will stay deep dark blue.
So well, because when there was one of them that was deep dark, or there was a couple. Maybe they weren't deep dark ones. Maybe they were just light blue ones. Either way, there was a couple of them that when you actually looked at them, like that one, that guy retiring. Oops, we don't want to change it. We want it to stay there. This guy retiring from the U.S. Senate. It's a dark blue area. Do you think something can ever change to actually make that switch? Being that he's finally retiring, this is also his eighth term. Been there since 2007.
No, Vermont's going to stay dark blue, I think. But New Hampshire, on the other hand, New Hampshire was pretty good competition for Trump in this last election, and I thought he was going to win New Hampshire. So I could see New Hampshire flipping fully red with their 2 congressional districts there.
So let's put him dark red.
And I could see New Mexico, 1 or 2 of theirs. Now I have to look at the map of the population centers because Albuquerque and Santa Fe, I think, are the 2 most populous. But I could see 1 or 2 of those going red.
Albuquerque would be that center one, which would be Melanie Stansbury, if I'm not mistaken. Because
there were several people talking about New Mexico possibly flipping to the Trump column for the Electoral College last time around. And I think the way that they've redrawn it, I think there might be a better chance. Well, not the whole state, but like...
I'm putting the whole state pink. Oh.
like the population center. Where's that? Is it the center then, I guess? Is where Santa Fe and Albuquerque would be?
Reset that. Go put that back.
So then, I don't know, maybe the 2 outside ones then? Leave the middle one likely. So like maybe the 2 outside ones would be red.
Dark red or light red? Okay, wait, before we go too far, let's go back to here real quick. Look where it was. You can see where the whole bottom side was dark red. So yeah, I mean, you wouldn't assume that would change, right?
Right.
And I would almost think that would be maybe something. That might be kind of interesting when you think about it, how, because you'd actually, at that 185, and you got Democrats scrambling.
I think maybe a couple of them up there in New York would turn red. The farther away from the city centers they are. The farther away from fortification.
Bobert's area likely.
Oh no, she's gonna win that.
I'm like, no. Is this open? It's an open district in Colorado. I'd have to, let's see here. See, they're trying to cut up those dark areas and make them expand into those red areas.
Some of the redrawings are good, some of them are bad.
I'll put that one pink. I don't know. I don't think these ones would. This is not running for re-election. Ed Perlmutter. Let's see here. What was that old map like again? It is a pretty red area. something in there. Who knows? Could be some fun stuff. You were saying something up in... That's red. That's not... What? Come on now. Something. AmericaShirts.
I don't know about the rest of them. I think the one in Wisconsin that's pink would go red. I think the ones in Iowa, except maybe the southernmost one, would go red. Except that one, yeah.
Except that one?
Yeah, that one I'm not sure about, because the other one had it. See, it has that area where it's blue. Which, like, what the hell, Iowa? What is wrong with you?
And this is the most, like, the capitals up here. And, you know, I just don't see how that one was.
And Arizona is different, too. It's like, it used to be, like, split in half. And now there's more of the one district. Look at all the blue in Arizona, which is ridiculous. It's like half and half. Now it's all leaning red.
You can pretty much... That's weird. It was leaning, right? It was just light pink.
Yeah.
I started.
It should be. Should be red as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I know the Phoenix area probably is what made that. Would it be Phoenix? Well, I forget where Phoenix is in Arizona. No, because Phoenix would be there.
Big chunk area down there.
So I don't know why the hell that's all blue. These other areas. But anywho's.
Because of the way it reached around and touched that area up in here.
Oh, does it do that?
Thought.
Oh.
Yeah, it comes all the way up inside that little area in there. So it was some gerrymandering crap. So now you look at it and it's like, you see, it still does. But... It changed quite a bit, really.
Oh, so they gave that one on the side more, but now it's leaning red.
It's weird. What was this other? Oh, I had the other map. This one. And that was. Why is nobody talking to us tonight?
I don't know.
I know why. They're all watching something else right at the moment.
Well, probably. I mean, Expert is still going, and then on top of that, it is Friday. There's a lot of other different live streams going along.
He is still going. That's our main crowd. So, what state were we working on? Arizona?
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to get to this thing over here. So, stayed 9 seats here. So I'm gonna. Let's see. Let's go. Let's close that. Let's move that up there, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. And then we'll share the entire screen. It's good. That way I can show you different tabs. So there's where Phoenix is, just right in that dead center.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can see how that reaches down and around to give it its district, which it did before. What happened was this one, that was this other red one, ended up consuming all this other territory that was around all that. They didn't gain a seat or lose a seat. They just redrew their lines off of where people moved. And it's interesting to see this potential chunk in the center of Trump. Other than the fact that when you look at the old map, it wrapped all the way around. So now there's this big contested area. Change in non-white population, -7. Change in adults with a bachelor's degree, -2. Seems as though look at the non-white population that increased in that big pink area. Be something to pay attention to later on. To see what the population, where that population change actually was, and why, and how it affected the area. So this particular screen right here, I don't know if this one's big. I don't know. Maybe I have to make that one bigger for you. It was showing all of the seats, so then you can see it's the likely Democrats to the likely Republicans and everything in between. And here's the toss-ups, and this is why I find it interesting, is they actually marked all of these blue as toss-up. The ones that they marked in the red as toss-up, there seems to be a couple open seats. Let's see, there's vacant, open, 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 open. There's a lot of open seats in there. And that's why they're all toss-ups, because they're like, well, we don't know what's going to happen. Well, history usually kind of repeats itself. So when you take any of those names and you apply them to the other maps, you can pretty much figure out where things are gonna go. Sorry, but that's not gonna, it's gonna go blue. Because it's just the way it is. That's Minnesota. Minnesota's notorious for going blue. I just don't see it being any other way. But look how close that gets. Get up into 219 from the Republicans. You seem to be being very quiet. You ready? You want to get out of here?
Well, I was about to tell you that I feel like I'm going to fall asleep because of my day that I have had. So
let's do it. Let's kick out of here.
Yeah, not to diss the show or anything.
Thank you for watching us. Whoever did watch us, tell your friends to make sure they subscribe, share, like, do all those fun things. Check out AmericaShirts.com. Check them out on Rumble. Anybody else that was here, Nerd, yep, he's got linked down below. Check out his channel. Doesn't have a lot there, but you know, every subscriber kind of pushes somebody to do something. So,
right. You'll get there.
We all love you. Thank you so much. Let's dance our way out.
I guess so. Later, peeps.
Back to them, or do you want to stay with Donald Trump?
Fuck Joe Biden.